Hey yo, if you got a crazy story to tell that you feel like the world needs to hear, make sure you get at me. You heard? Tell your story on my channel and get heard by thousands of people. Send me an email about that business and we'll talk about it. I'm also doing full documentaries. You heard? Full documentaries coming to the channel very soon. Hey yo, if you're not promoting on my channel, you bugging out, bro. Check this video right here. You see how that got 9,300 views in 3 days? 9,000 people could have saw your promo. You heard? Text that number and get at me. You heard? And I'll get you seen and heard by the masses. And that's a fact. Shout out to the bro Black Knowledge, Brooklyn legend, Brooklyn icon. You heard? This is only the introduction, because we got big things in the works. You heard? Shout out to the whole Brownsville, the whole Bed-Stuy, the whole Sumner projects. You heard? The whole Marcy Tompkins, the whole style, man. Roosevelt. We in here.
Facts. It all started for me right there in Sumner projects, homie. It all started for me right there, SP. Let's start with Biggie, right? Because we from Brooklyn, so we gonna talk our Brooklyn shit. But if we start with Biggie, when Biggie first came out, right, on his grind and the way he was struggling, Biggie was loved and admired, bro. But as soon as he started reaching certain levels of success that people perceived, he might not have even been all the way where people perceived him to be, homie. But I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's remnants of slavery, how we was taught to hate ourselves or whatever, or hate our peoples, or the crab and the barrel theory. We don't want to see nobody get above or ahead without us being there with them. We start hating, homie. That's what that is. It's envy because other people say, damn, that should be me. Why is that him and not me? I rap, I'm nice, I'm good. So like, the hate and shit that you receive, a lot of times you can brush it off because you have knowledge of what it stems from. People are programmed, right, to, I believe, to admire, respect, and appreciate until you get to a certain level. And then once you get to a certain level and they see you living lavishly or perceive you to be living lavishly, the admiration changes from that to envy. Why? How? Bro, I don't know. Maybe you could get some psychologists on your joints and that have done studies on these things, because I'm quite sure they have. But this is the jewel that I'm telling you.
That's deep that you say that, man, because Biggie seemed to be happy before he really blew up crazily. After he blew up crazily and got that big level fame, he seemed to be a little bit unhappy, man.
More money, more problems, homie. They said that. Listen, a lot of people that's, these rappers, these artists or whatever, I have a lot of respect for artists that, because they telling their life stories and they telling, musically, they telling stories from their perspective, or maybe having gone through things or have seen others go through things or whatever, and they have those abilities to put that in poem or musical form for the enjoyment of others. But it becomes stressful. Success, bro. It's success. It's stressful, homie. Success. So it doesn't make a difference whether you're an artist, a commentator, a cinematographer, whatever. Once you reach certain levels of success, it tends to become stressful, because now you have the hanger-ons, you have the, yo, that was my man, we came up from the sandbox together, yo, put me on and help me out. Damn, my nigga, I'm not even on. I'm still striving and struggling and trying to make progressions. But that's just the nature of our people. So until we realize what we're doing and understand what we're doing and figure out ways to diminish that envy and that ill will or ill feelings that we have towards people that are successful, then you gonna have those, bro. So let me see, who said it best? I think, not best, but who said something really cool? I think it was a comedian. Matter of fact, it was Cat Williams. When he did, I think, one of his first stand-up joints that really blew up about the haters, and he was like, if somebody, got some haters and they want to send them my way, send them to me. He was looking for many haters that he could find, because he knew that the more haters he got, I guess he felt the more successful he knew he was becoming, bro. So look at it like that. All of them cats coming up, if you feel they making stories up about you and not being honest and trying to drag you through the mud and all that, listen, fuck all that, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. Focus on that, because here's what happens. If you let those detractors distract you, you're no longer going to be relevant in what you're doing, homie, and in what you're trying to present to the people. You and I, outside of recording conversations, whatever, when we talk personally, we be building about real shit. And individuals will never get these stories and these jewels and these nuggets of this information if you let the detractors distract you. Because what's going to happen? Words get exchanged, more words get exchanged, more words get exchanged. Certain type of individuals tend to take it to the next level, So now you out and about, and you got to have him with you, because shit is real. Everything is real. I mean, none of this shit is fantasy, fallacy, made up. Everything is real. So individuals are held accountable for what they say out their mouth. Individuals are held accountable for what they do. Individuals are held accountable for how they move. So my jewel to you is, don't get distracted by all that, homie. Keep doing what you're doing, so that you won't have to jeopardize your platform for possibly having to do something to somebody, or somebody do something to you over these words, bro. Fuck all that. Keep doing what you're doing, homie. But all right, let's talk about some shit. What we talking about?
Who introduced you to crime?
It wouldn't have been any particular individual. It would have been my observation of game. I'm an observer first. Somebody call me knowledge. That's what knowledge means: to know, look, listen, observe, to respect. So I'm an observer. I'm an observer of my surroundings. I've always kept my head on a swivel and paid attention to my complete entire surroundings at all times. So in doing so, I saw things, and some of the things that I saw intrigued me more so than other things. So I said, okay, damn, fast cars over there, shiny jewelry, attention, admiration, adulation from peers, respect, fear. Damn. You know what I mean? I want some of that. We was in that concrete jungle, bro, where the lion was supposedly the most feared and revered. You know what I mean? So I wanted to be the lion. Damn sure wasn't no deer. I wasn't bait. I wasn't one of the animals that was going to be getting chased and eaten. You know what I'm saying? But not me. Not Black Knowledge. I wanted to eat, homie. I wanted to do the eating. So what influenced me was seeing other individuals do it, right? And then my young mind formulating what they're doing and saying to myself, I could do that. That shit they doing don't look like rocket science. I could do that. And I think I could do it better than them.
You was noticing those fast cars and that jewelry and that fear and respect. How old you think you was at that time?
12, 13, probably younger than that, homie. Probably younger than that, because we notice those things in the hoods, because you're going to notice what you see every day and what's around you. So I grew up in the hoods of Bedford-Stuyvesant in Brooklyn. I grew up in impoverished neighborhoods, what was referred to as, poverty-stricken homes or whatever, ghetto, for the lack of a better word, the ghetto. So, in growing up in those environments, you see things and you say, damn, I know it's better out there, because you see it, right? So that's where the influence of television and movies and all that other shit comes in. You see these grandiose lifestyles of other individuals, and then you start, in your young mind, you start comparing it to your lifestyle. You're like, hold the fuck up. Something wrong with this picture. How can they do that? And how can they live like that? And how can they afford to get all of those things? And I can't. So then you start figuring things out and say, hold on, all right, well, they had to start from somewhere, and then you get you figure things out. But while you figuring things out and growing up, you have peers, right? You have individuals. So now you, amongst your peers, your individuals, and you guys are exchanging information and ideas, and then that's how things get formulated. Like nowadays, I guess they would probably call that's like how conspiracies in the court of law came about. Oh, you guys conspired and sat down and said we're gonna do this and do that and whatever. But that's how it. For me, that's how it started. Seeing better than what I had and aspiring and wanting that.
And this was in Sumner?
It all started for me right there in Sumner Projects, homie. It all started for me right there, SP.
And what years was this, like when you was 12, 13?
This would have been in the late 70s, like, you know what I mean? So this would have been to the late 70s, early 80s, like 78, 79, 80, 81, 82. So like I'm seeing these things. I'm in Brooklyn, I'm running around, I'm, building my character, understanding my surroundings, understanding how to maneuver within my surroundings, understanding who I am and realizing my potential. Like, yo, this shit ain't hard, bro. And then basically having a group of individuals that wanted the same things that I wanted, aspired for, and towards the same things that I aspired towards. And so when we get in person and face to face, this is where you're gonna really get the histories of the hoods where I came from. So my interactions was Sumner, right? Because that's where I'm from. I moved to Sumner when I was like, my mother moved there when I was like, 4 or 5 years old. So I was entrenched in Sumner since the age of maybe 4 or 5. And then in the outskirts of Sumner, we had Tompkins, Marcy, Bushwick, Roosevelt, Borinquen, Williamsburg. Further down, we had LG, Fort Greene, Farragut, and then going up we had Crown Heights, East New York, Brownsville, and the like. So, encompassing all of that Brooklyn, when we really get into it, I'm going to show you how it all intertwined, bro. How at various points in times, we were interconnected with each other, all those different neighborhoods that I mentioned. And then there's individuals from those neighborhoods, some I'll mention, some I won't. But I'll be able to paint a better picture, a vivid picture for you of how individuals from different neighborhoods connect. You know what I mean? Because of the commonality of being poor and the not haves, and wanting better than being poor and not having. We wanted success. You know what I mean? We wanted fortune. We wanted a better life. So so in that story lies everything, homie. Within that story lies everything. The trials, the tribulations, the journeys, the ups, the downs, the pitfalls, those that made it, those that didn't make it, those that fell to the wayside, those that told, and all that's in there, homie. That encompasses, it's all encompassed in there, homie. It's all in there. So like I said, when we briefly touching on things now, but when I sit down and we look each other eye to eye and we go through some of the stories, and I'm quite sure when I talk about certain things, I'm quite sure you've heard numerous stories. You probably heard stories about me. I don't know.
I'm coming for the official story behind the rumor that dudes in Sumner was knocking out police and taking their guns. I'm coming for that.
We're gonna get to that. We can address that. Yeah, we can address that. One of my homies told me this. Matter of fact, it was who was it told me? Matter of fact, it was Tracy Morgan. Tracy told me at one time. He said, "Yo, nah, bro, you a real dude and you deal with a lot of fact, right? But a lot of times, the fiction is more entertaining and better than the fact. People want to hear the facts, right? But they want to hear an embellishment of those facts. You don't understand what embellishment means. So, that's like you taking a story and then you taking it from a 2 and putting a fucking 10 on that 2 and turning it into a 12. It started as a 2. It was a good story as a 2, but other people have other ideas and they run with it, and it'll be from this happened with these individuals or officers to niggas jumped off the roof, right, opened the parachute, swan dived on top of the police head, scooped him off, took the gun. Yeah, bro, you know how the hood is, bro. Everybody loves a good tale. That's from our ancestry in Africa, bro. When dudes used to sit down and tell them stories. So that's embedded in us. That's how dudes are great artists. That's how some guys are really good in their artistry, because they have that ability in them to tell a great story, whether it's a yarn, you know what I mean, or whether it's a factual joint. So yeah, it's a like I said, I'm gonna bring truth to some of the yarns or some of the embellishments, and I'm gonna bring it back down to size, so you could get a better factual picture of how it really went down versus how the legend grew of it. You know what I mean? How it grew to become a legend. But sometimes some people say, leave the legend alone, homie. Let the legend flourish and let it do that, So those are things we'll discuss, homie, and along the way we'll figure it out. But I'm looking forward to chopping it up with you, sitting down face to face, because, like I said, I want to talk about everything. So it's not just the crime in the streets. We're gonna start there, homie, but that's not where we're gonna end. That's definitely not where we're gonna end, because that's not where my story ends. You dig? That's a part of it. It's a big, major part of it, which helped to create who I was and who I became. But that's not the end of the story. So far, right now, I can't even tell you the end of the story. I'm still here, and I'm still doing what I'm doing to make this story continuously develop. But that's why I want to cover a lot of different topics, because I see a lot, homie. I see a lot. I listen to a lot. I observe a lot, and I stay shut, right? And one of the conversations that you and I had behind the scenes, I didn't get no sleep that night, homie, after that conversation, because what you said was so poignant to me and it resonated in me so deeply that I had to dig deep down inside and say, yo, homie, that little young brother St. Lance, he was right about that. What you gonna do? Die with all this information? You gonna die, take these stories, some of these stories that are relevant, so relevant that they might be able to uplift or help other people. You're gonna be so stingy with that information that you take it with you to the grave, homie, and never let it grow wings and see what it could become. I heard you, homie. Just to let you know, I'm gonna give you your flowers on that right now. I heard you, and I agree to some extent. So that's why we're gonna be able to have the conversations that we're going to be able to have, and then it'll develop into whatever it develops into, homie. But all you're gonna get from me is honesty and realism from my perspective. Nothing that I'm ever gonna tell you is gonna be from anybody else's perspective, but from myself. You get it, homie? I mean, I've been influenced maybe by the people that I've encountered and came across in my life or whatever, but at the end of the day, ultimately what you're going to get from me is my perspective and how I drew things up and how I came to understand things the way that I understand it. And hopefully you will appreciate it, and when it gets put out or however you do it, it's for something that's positive. My thing is, I don't want to have conversations and it's about negativity and rehashing old shit and old wounds and
this about healing and therapy, man. We ain't on here trying to start no trouble. We ain't on here trying to drag nobody name through the mud. You understand what I'm saying? Tarnish people's reputations. We ain't doing none of that. We just telling the history.
We're not doing none of that, homie, but everybody's truths are different. So my truth might be somewhat hard to stomach in some instances and in some situations. So by me telling you this, I'm telling you and I'm putting it out there and I'm taking my stance that when I tell my truth, it is what it is. So If it offends some, it's not my intention. I'm only telling my truth. But I don't back down from nobody. You know what I mean? And I don't duck no reps. And I don't deny no history with respect to me bringing out my truth. Like I said, some things are going to stay where they stay. But the things that I do bring out and the things that I do speak on, know that I stand on everything that I say. You dig, homie? So you ain't never got to worry about any flip-flopping or any funny shit with knowledge. Like, yo, is he? No, anything I say out my mouth, homie, I stand on it. I stand on it. You dig? And when I say I stand on it, that's a lot, because a lot comes with standing on something. You dig? Because, you know, so that could be left there. But I stand on everything I say out my mouth, homie. So just to put that out there before we, you know what I mean, proceed. So you ain't got to feel like, oh, well, homie, I don't want to, whatever you ask, I'll tell you now, homie, I'm not going to go down that road. But if I do decide to go down that road, no, I believe that everything I tell you, I stand on it.
Who ran your projects before you ran your projects?
Oh, that's an easy one. The dudes that we looked up to, dudes in my generation, in my sect, the dudes that we looked up to and that we idolized as the gangsters from the projects and who taught us how to rep for the hood. Yo, you from Sumner, this is how we rep Sumner and all that. Right, I got a nice few names for you, homie, but we gonna say that for the face to face. You know, you gotta tantalize them. You can't give them everything, love. You can't give them everything. But yeah, it was definitely some individuals that came before me. And when I mention these individuals are widely known within the boroughs of New York City, widely known within the correctional facilities of New York City, and the correctional facilities of New York State, and you know the city county facilities, Rikers Island, and all that. So these individuals that used to sit me down and talk to me and give me the game, and dudes that I used to watch and idolize and want to be like. When I mention some of them, I'm gonna check with them first and let them know, just to get the okay, because I would never want to, you know, put somebody out there in especially those that are still living. I'm only referring to the living cats. The cats that are no longer here, that so they can't tell me yay or nay because they're not here. So I'll just use my discretion, my judgment on whether or not, you know, I name drop those individuals. But the individuals that are still alive and you know, well, out of respect, the way I was brought up, I would check with them first. Yo, homie, you was an influence in my life. At this point, I'm doing this with the homie over here. We discussed some things. Would you mind? So what I'm telling you and what I'm teaching you right now, homie, is called protocol. A lot of dudes don't understand protocol. That's why situations happen, because people don't understand protocol and simple common courtesies. A lot of things to be avoided if people understood simple common courtesies, dealt with a little bit of respect, and followed somewhat of a protocol. Protocols don't exist now, homie. Everything goes. More things for us to discuss when we see each other. But I'm not from that era where every and anything goes, homie. I follow protocol. I was schooled by some of the greats. So we gonna talk about it. You know, not to glorify stuff, not to be trying to relive stuff, but just to like you said, tell a story so that hopefully somebody can hear the story, view it, and can relate to it and say, damn, that's how homie and them did it over there. Okay, so I like the way they did that. Let me take that and run with that and add my own spin to it and spiel to it and make it better and hopefully be successful in what I'm doing over here. For me, that's what it's about, homie. That's what building means. You know what I mean? That's how we gonna build and add on. That's my intentions, and that's my objective with blessing you and enlightening you with the stories and the information that I have, all for positive use only. You dig?
That's a fact.
I got a 14-year-old male son that I'm raising, so I want to impart information to him that would make him knowledgeable and comfortable and confident to proceed through life in various types of different situations. Don't just take for face value what you see or hear or read about someone else and say, oh, well, the trend is not to do that way because that's not perceived as cool. Or I can't let another man know that I respect his movements or respect what he's doing or appreciate what he's doing or acknowledge what he's doing because that's going to be considered me riding him. Like, that's the most goofiest shit I ever heard in my fucking life, bro.
Yeah,
That shit is the most goofiest shit. And I try to be as humble as I can in any situation because, like I said, I told you in the beginning, like I stand on the things that I say and my reputation, right? And how I'm perceived and how I put myself out there means everything to me because it's what I know, right? So a lot of times, like I remember an incident where I think it was in it might have been like 1992. I was in Kagsaki. I just came from Southport. I did a few years in the box. I had 4 years in the box, and I think I did about 18 months. Got a time cut, reverse, or whatever. They sent me to the cat. When I got to the cat, they put me in long-term keep lock. I think I had about another 30, 60 days to do. So they put me in long-term keep lock. So when I was in long-term keep lock, I was on the gallery, and I was on the gallery. You know, there was cats from all over, Brooklyn, whatever. There was some Harlem cats, some Bronx cats, whatever. And I think it was this cat. I believe his name was Caviar. I can't remember. I think his name was Caviar, whatever, but something like that. But he was from Harlem, and young boy, right? But young cat. I had about 5, 6 years in during my bid at that time. He was a younger dude just coming up top. He was in long-term key lock, probably touching something, going, putting whatever work in. And he was like, yo, he called me to the gate one day. He was like, yo, Steve, yo, you Knowledge? Your name Knowledge? You Black Knowledge? Like Black Knowledge from Sumner? I'm like, yeah, wow, what's up? Who asked me? He like, nah, man, he just was just staring at me through the gate, and he was just like at a loss for words, like he was just like trying to express. So I'm like, yo, homie, what's up? Spit it out, like what's on your mind? He was like, nah, man, like you not what I expected. So I was taken back a little bit. I was like, I'm confused. What you mean? I'm not what you expected. I don't even know you. He was like, no, not for that. He said, I heard so much about you, and the stuff that I heard about you, I expected you to be about 6'10", with muscles out your neck, 1,000 scars on your face, stab wounds everywhere, and just this wild, big, aggressive like monster. He said because the way they speak about you and the way they talk about you with respect to when you got to go in, it's like a monster. But when I see you in person and I speak to you, you're like the most humblest, coolest, quiet, laid-back dude I've ever met. So he said that it's weird that to see somebody that people speak so highly about in one way, and then when you meet him, you get a totally different perspective. And I've gotten that so much in my life that sometimes it's amazing to me. I'm like, that's weird, because I only know myself to be myself, right? I don't look at myself as this grandiose individual, this big person, or this super character or whatever. I just look at myself as being myself. I'm Knowledge, you know what I mean? I'm real. I'm as real as I can be, and I personify that in everything that I do. But, you know, with respect to some of the things that I've done, people that meet me, they be like, I ain't gonna hold you, homie. You kind of short too. You ain't even what I thought. I was like, sometimes, homie, I don't even know how to take that. I'm like, I don't know, what does that mean, bro? It's like, so my thing is, and then what I usually tell dudes is that, okay, so the jewel in that is that everything isn't always as it seems or appears, and then a lot of times you don't believe everything you hear. You know, you hear it, you take it into account, but then you do your own research, and then you get to see. Because a lot of times, like I told you earlier, perception is different from reality. You dig? The perception of somebody might be this big monster, or this terrible person, or this notoriously bad person. But like you said, when you get to actually sit down and talk to some of these people, they be some of the coolest, realest, down-to-earth people that you come across, and that's what I strive to be, homie. Like,
And smartest dudes be thinking that dudes is criminals and they dumb. You get to know these dudes, you be like, yo, this dude is highly intelligent.
some some of the best criminals that I've ever come across, some of the most notorious dudes that I've come across were extremely intelligent, bro. Extremely, so much so that they surprised me. Like, oh shit! And like, it surprised me, but it made me dig deeper into myself. Like, yo, boy, you got to start paying attention to the bigger picture. You know what I mean? It's the big picture. If this is the life you choose to be in this life of crime, in this street life or whatever, then you have to pay attention to all of the tangibles and the intangibles, the small shit all the way up to the large shit. You know what I mean? Because it's a whole lot that makes it a big picture. It's just not a big picture. You know what I mean? It's things that, and more things and more things and more things that make that picture bigger. So, but it's a pleasure, bro, man. You know, you helped me to get a lot off my chest that I was building up and just holding in me all throughout 2022, man, 2023, man. My ideals are to let some of this out, man, and just, you know, be at peace with it and speak my truth, man.
You know that's what they call me now, right? That's what they call me. They call me the hood therapist. Know what I mean? But real talk, bro, that's what this really is, man. It's therapy for all of us, man. Like, we all gotta get shit off of our chest. And by us getting this shit off our chest, younger dudes hear those stories and realize that they're not the only ones that went through this shit.
Going through things, that's a whole fact, homie. People have. That's why I wanted to do it, because I wanted to be able to tell a story and someone say, "Yo, I relate to that story so much," and it helped me, bro. It helped me, yo, bro. Listen, from a person that's been there, you know what I mean, spent several years there of my life, bro. Prison is a blessing and a curse, bro. Prison is at times one of the worst fucking places on earth to be, bro. Separated from your loved ones, your family, people telling you what to do, when to do it, how to do it. You know, that in and of itself, bro, prison, you would have material, endless, infinite material if you wanted to just explore that, because a lot of times people are afraid to talk about their experiences in their life in prison for whatever reasons, backlash, or whether it's traumatizing and they would rather just move on and not relive that type of stuff. I don't know, homie. I can't speak for nobody other than myself, but for myself, bro, some of those times, you know, were so trying and stressful that you wonder if you're gonna make it out with your sanity, bro. You wonder if you're gonna make it out with your life. You know what I mean, homie? You wonder if you go, because everybody that go in behind the walls and have those type of experiences, encounters, they don't make it out. And if they do make it out, some people don't be the same. I have countless stories of individuals that went in behind those walls. I got a base that went in behind those walls and didn't come out the same, bro. And it's a tragedy. And it's a travesty what they do to our people, bro, and what we're subjected to. But the resilience of the black man is legend. That's, you want to speak about legend. The resiliency of our people is legend in and of itself, you know, to be able to make the best of traumatizing situations, to make the best of not having, to be able to make fucking sugar out of shit, you know what I mean, metaphorically, bro, is speaking a lot to the legend and the resiliency of our people, bro. And you know, those are some of the other things that I want to address and talk about, so that when the young youth hear this shit, bro, they can get an understanding. I'm gonna take them through the life of crime, what got me there, my choice that I made, or whatever. But I'm gonna also let them know that there's other choices that you could do. There's an other side to that, bro. There's a flip side to every coin, so it's not always it's not one-sided, bro.
It's very deep what you just said when you said we talking about the resilience of our people, like how strong our people are. And it's like, bro, that's a reason why I put out these jail stories. Like, dudes don't understand. Like, some dudes may say, oh, you just glorifying jail and violence. What I'm really doing with this is I'm putting out shocking. I want people out there that's not from this life and not from where we from to hear shit like that and be shocked. Because you should be shocked that this is what our people go through. You understand where you gotta go through Rikers Island and stab and cut niggas for your sneakers. You feel what I'm saying? And pop off in the mess hall and cut this nigga in. You know what I mean? You gotta go up and go gun to gun with a nigga in the yard. Bro, this shit is part of the black experience.
That's a fact.
A lot of black people gotta go through this shit.
It's sad because that's a reality. And that's a reality that us as black people have to face, and nobody, homie, can take that away from us. And that's what I'm saying. Black people don't know how to tap into their inner power because they don't realize they have it. And when we build it, homie, I'm gonna let them know that they have it, and I'm gonna show them how to tap into it when they need to. You know what I mean? And if they have to, tap into your inner fucking demon if you must. Tap into your inner God if you have to. Tap into your inner beast if you have to, homie, because you're trying to survive. You're trying to survive. And you trying to survive, and you trying to make the best life for yourself. But when tapping into these things and all that, let's also understand that there should be some rules of engagement, son. Let's also understand that there should be some codes of conduct with respect to this. And that's what we got lost with, homie. So that's how the fuck dudes are able to be ahead of the real dudes in this day and age. And it's mind-boggling and baffling to me. So that's why I stick to, you know what I mean, the things that I stick to, and I steer clear of the things that I steer clear of, because I feel like I'm in a time zone or another element or another existence. Like, sometimes I wake up like, what the fuck is going on? Who the fuck is these niggas? Like, who are these people? When I say niggas, I mean in general, blacks, whites, hey, whatever. Who the fuck are these people? And where do they come from? And how do they have so much vast influence over the masses of people, bro? How? How is it like that? So those are things that plague my mind, and those are some of the things that I go through because I'm trying to get to solutions and answers to some of these questions. Like, damn, man, can we change this shit and get it back to a realm of I can't even say normalcy, but a realm of that's relegated, regarded, and respected? Boy, look at the trend. These are some of the things we could discuss too. Look at the transition of what we started musically, with respect to hip hop. Look where it started, how it began, and look where it's at now. Not to say one is necessarily better than the other, but we don't control it in terms of how it's marketed and how it's put out there. So we kind of follow the narrative. If the narrative is destructive music, misogyny, disrespect the black woman, disrespect the other black man, start beefs, kill this motherfucker if he says something that you don't like, whatever. How the fuck did we get to all that?
It ain't never been this bad. It ain't never been this bad. This the worst it ever been.
Listen to me, bro. How the fuck did we get there, homie? That's what plagues me at night. How the fuck did we get there? What happened to the positive, to the messages, and to the knowledge and information that motherfuckers used to drop to help enlighten you and to uplift you out of those situations? They stopped promoting that, homie. And when I say they, who the fuck is they? Right? Who's they?
It's facts, man. It's
facts,
bro.
That controls our narrative. That controls We create this shit. We come up with this shit. We spit this shit from within us, from what we been through, what we've seen, and what we've lived. And then another person can come in and reshape these narratives and reshape our words and our experiences, put it to their own likeness, and say, okay, this content we don't want you to include. Take that out. Put this in here. Emphasize that and go ahead and get crazy, and we'll make sure you get a shitload of money. So at the end of the day, homie, what we doing is for the money? Is everything about the money?
And that music, the music that's out now, I ain't gonna act like it wasn't no hardcore kill 'em up stuff in my era, you feel me? Because we had our gangster rap and all of that too, but it's different now. Now it's different. It's like, you know, if you ain't shooting to kill a op and popping some motherfucking pills, you just not in the loop. You feel what I'm saying? Like, this shit is the most decadent this culture has ever been. I tuned out totally. I don't know who none of these niggas is.
How can we counteract some of this goofy shit, bro? We have to learn how to get back in tune with ourselves, bro, and in our innate abilities to be fucking independent builders, because we built the pyramids, didn't we? According to history, we built the pyramids. We were aesthetics and super builders and thinkers and great thinkers and theologists and architects and things of that nature. So how did we go from that to the state of being that we're in? And then how can we start reversing the state of being that we're in to that which we once was and beyond?
Yeah, you
Those
know,
are my questions, homie.
I can't remember what book I read this in, but it was a crazy analogy about the human race. And, you know, I apply this analogy. I have to apply this analogy to what's going on with hip hop and the music and all of that, because it's the only way it makes sense. Otherwise, it just don't make sense to me. But I would, you know, they say a caterpillar, when a caterpillar is alive, you know, it's one of the most creepy, repulsive bugs. People hate them, and all they do is eat the leaves and ruin trees. And farmers hate caterpillars because they just seem to never stop eating. You understand? Like, why do they eat so much? Kill them off, you feel me? But the reality is, in science, when we look into it, caterpillars only evolve into butterflies when they have a certain amount of nutrients in them from all of the leaves that they eat. If they don't eat enough leaves, they will go into a cocoon and they'll never turn to a butterfly. They'll just die because they didn't have the right vitamins and nutrients from the leaves. They didn't eat enough. So even though caterpillars are repulsive, ugly, and annoying, sometimes they just doing what they gotta do to get to that next stage and evolve to the butterfly. So I look at this hip hop shit was going on, you know, we went through the mumble rap phase, then the drill rap phase and all of that, and we looking at it like, what the fuck is going on? What happened to hip hop? I just gotta say that it has to be at the stage where it's gonna soon evolve into that butterfly, and you know, some type of message is gonna come back through the music that's gonna wipe out all of this bullshit. You heard?
That's you know, I like the way you look at that. And that's a creative way to look at it. I like that.
Allah will come take the devil off our planet in one day. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
yo, you see how this video I just dropped 3 days ago on my YouTube channel already got 9,300 views? If your promo was on there, you would have already got seen by over 9,000 people in 72 hours. Ain't nobody promo like the promo on my channel. You heard? Holla at me.